you want to wait 10 minutes? You
I
sure you don't want to go
mean,
now?
you can go now if you want to.
No. I'll wait 10 minutes. It's totally fine.
No. It's totally fine. Just go ahead and go now. Who cares what I think?
Well, I
I
care what you think.
care what
Yeah.
you think.
I care
I'm
about the
teasing.
woman that said that, usually people that like something are fans of it. That was a very intelligent thing he said.
You know what?
And,
You're a dick. We're no longer
I'm
friends.
just saying, that was a super intelligent take.
I'll
I'm
miss
proud of you.
everybody.
For,
So when I'm not here ever again, it's because of Richard and because he's a dick.
so mean to me. So mean. But anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinion on a variety of topics. Joining me, as always, from the Eastern Coast, Nikki.
Coast? Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. I'm from the Eastern Coast.
You are?
No. I'm from the
I've seen a
East.
map. Tennessee's on the East Coast.
Listen, it's in the East, but I'm not. There's no beaches.
Right, I'm going to do an image map, Tennessee. All right, we're just going to figure this one out right here. Okay. Image. Here we are. Right next to the sea. There's only one state between you and the sea. Come on.
That means I'm not on the coast. Because the coast would mean it's me and the sea. So who's a dipshit now?
Well, this is certainly
the
earliest.
North Carolina.
This is the earliest we've fallen down a rabbit hole for sure. We haven't even finished saying hello, and already you two are fighting. Bring it on.
No, you're right next to the sea.
But no, I'm not, because I'm in the west part of the state. You see where the two other states are touching my state? I'm right there. Yeah. I literally travel to either state.
Your state is state sea adjacent, so you're on the east. It's going to be
like, listen, it's at least 10 hours out of my state if I head east. So give me like 20 or 18 or something to get to the freaking coast, or 14. It's going to be stupid. No, I'm not on the East Coast.
All right, then. Well, anyway.
I'm in the East.
Nikki's agreeing to disagree with me. We'll agree to disagree.
No, she's not.
And we'll move on. From our coastal city of London, Tom.
I was born and bred in London, so I won't take issue with you there. And yes, London is a port, so it can get away with being coastal. I had
that argument with my brother last week.
I'm absolutely here and present and correct, despite the hopes of Richard, if not the hopes of many.
Yeah, my brother didn't think that London was close to the sea, and I was just like, Jesus.
No, it's close enough.
Well, who was right? Because obviously you don't know what close is.
London's a port city. It's built on an estuary.
What?
Richard doesn't know what close is in any sense of the word. He's not got a partner, and he's probably still a virgin.
Okay, first of all, your mum can tell you that I'm definitely not a virgin. Let's get that one.
Oh, I'd take that. That'd be good for both of you.
But,
right? Come do my mom while you're at it, Richard.
Wales. Well, I've already got an appointment with your mum, so yeah, she's definitely up for it. But
she's a little bit expensive, but it's probably not the most you've paid.
Well, obviously she's expensive. You're cheap as hell, so it has to balance out.
Well, if anyone were to accuse your mum of being a homie, you couldn't really argue back after you said it first.
That's true. I wouldn't anyway. So.
Oh, your mum's awesome.
She is. She's great.
Yeah.
Nikki's mum is indeed awesome. I've had many phone conversations with her where we rip on Nikki for several hours.
That's why you guys get along.
We're united with our mutual hatred of Nikki. Definitely on the coast because it's a port city, and Wales gets stuck in the Thames sometimes. It's not nice, but it just happens. Imagine that, like, living in London and being able to see Wales when it happens. Pretty cool.
My very needy cat has rocked up.
Relevant as always, Tom. Thank you. We were talking about Wales, but okay, let's talk about Tom's cat. I'm not going to be immature and use the other vernacular. I know Nikki's going to go there, but I'm not. So,
go on.
You guys had an interesting week. What's been going on?
Nothing. Just work and moving and cleaning and not a whole lot. Life.
I had a lovely trip to Canterbury today. I took my youngest son Reese and went on a waddle round various shops. Trying to weasel my way back into your good books, Richard. Not that I was ever there in the first place. But leaving Las Vegas from the branch of CX in Canterbury High Street. So I refuse to call it sex. That's what they want, and that's just really immature and juvenile. So CX it is.
We're not going to let them win, so we call it CEX.
Exactly.
#resist. But no, I'm with you. I never call it sex.
No, it's just silly. Even though when I was asked, they wanted me to check up an order, and I had to do it on my phone. I didn't have a good data connection. And they said, I'll log into our Wi-Fi. It's free. It's unprotected sex. And sure enough, I searched for Wi-Fi networks, and there it was. Charming.
Brilliant.
Charming.
Yeah.
You got to admire their commitment to the bit. Really. I mean, they went all in.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Nice.
That was actually the joke.
I keep stumbling upon terrible puns by accident. I was talking to a friend of mine called Diane online earlier, and I was telling her that a mate of mine. Oh, you know about this, guys. You know that mate of mine who had the really nasty accident in his trying to fix a fence, and he wasn't wearing safety goggles, which he should.
Oh yeah.
Hung back and whacked him in the eye, and I was giving an update to Diane and just said. He's had an operation, but he's got a couple more pending. And I said it remains to be seen if he'll get his sight back or not. And I thought, that was
brilliant.
Worded
Absolutely brilliant.
I just typed it and then thought, oops. And then I thought, do I delete or send? Oh, fuck it, just send.
Send it. Be proud.
Yeah.
Don't let this nation of Puritans shame you.
So beyond that, I'm this week, or maybe it might have been last week actually. I decided I'm going to get another tattoo.
Heck yeah!
Yeah, I'm going to get a tattoo of a manta ray, which is curiously enough my avatar, just because of what I probably would have said a couple of shows ago that I've got a new job and I'm moving on, and the biggest reason I'm moving on is because last year I had my last year at school was a very mixed year, and I decided the end of year results were just not what they should have been at all, but I had built pretty good relationships with the parents and the kids, and I got a truckload of gifts that I really, really did not expect at the end of the year. And so it's about sort of saying the tattoo sort of represents holding on to what's good. Because they were the manta rays, and it was a very special year for me. It was in danger of being ruined by the end of year results, and the tattoo is just sort of. I haven't really thought about this. I'm kind of thinking out loud, which is why it's even more incoherent than normal. It's about saying, well, actually, that year was valuable. It was special. It does deserve to be remembered because. There are kids that won't forget you and will remember you as a teacher that always tried their hardest and tried their best to be kind and make the learning fun and tried to do all the right things. Not perfectly, very error prone, far less than it should have been in some ways. But overall, they saw the glass as half full. And that's so I'm getting a tattoo to say, hey, my glass is half full, and I'm good at what I'm gonna. Now I'm getting a job, new beginning, which hopefully will play to my strengths and assault my weaknesses a little less than mainstream teaching does. That's the hope.
I'm confused. Do you get a manta ray or a glass half full? Or are you getting a manta ray drinking from a half full glass?
Now there's a thought. Or I could have a manta ray swimming in a half full glass. It'd have to be a very
There
small
you are.
manta.
That works.
Mm.
You're a fan of the manta, are you?
My dad's every year. It's changed this year when we're all mountain rangers. We're the Andes, and but you're allowed to choose your animal, and I chose. Yeah, I wanted to do something underwater. I knew that, and I knew I wanted to make like a kind of underwater themed classroom, which I've still got. I got a couple of, and my dad suggested the manta rays, and it was the one I went with. I got these manta ray kites on hanging from the ceiling. There's cuddly manta rays all over the classroom, and that kind of thing. Well, it worked for us, so I'm getting a tattoo of it even, and I intend to show a picture of it. Oh shit! I've just realised I've said I'm moving on in a public forum, which probably wasn't the smartest. For once,
no one listens to us.
I was going to say,
Yeah, you're good.
hopefully this is small time enough. For once, we're grateful for our 2 listeners or whoever they are.
We've got 30 listeners that listen every week, and we're grateful to all of them.
Every single one.
Listeners,
It's always nice.
In the very, very small chance that some of you have any remote connection to the part of the world I live in, Thanet in Kent, please don't broadcast from the.
Why would you dox yourself? Why would you? Why would you do that?
Lord have mercy.
I say London area, so no one knows specifically where you are. I say Tennessee for Nikki. I say North for me, so nobody knows specifically where we are. And you gave the actual village name. Why, Tom? What is actually wrong with you?
Clearly, a lot.
Oh, it's okay, Tom. We love you. You're fine. You're fine.
Guys,
The only way that could have been worse is if you've given your actual address.
Okay, so
no.
I will.
One with any connection to 22 Squires Green.
I don't think either of you know my address anyway, and it's bloody well staying that way.
Wait a second. I might actually know your address.
Oh
Dox
no!
him.
You've never.
I'm not going to dox you.
You've never even sent me anything nice or anything at all.
Oh, love.
So mean.
I have your. It's on the thing, isn't it?
It would probably be on the parcel of the.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did that. It was fantastic.
I do plan on sending both of you guys something nice. It's harder to find stuff for you, Tom, because your dietary restrictions. Whereas Richard, I know exactly what I'm getting him.
He's a trash panda and will eat literally anything.
Especially white cheddar popcorn.
Don't you tease me with white cheddar popcorn if you're not going to send it to me.
I'm going to send it to you.
I will kill you.
Listeners, please don't cause me all sorts of bother by dobbing me in. Thank you.
Do you not know how the internet works, Tom? If you tell it not to do something, it will do it out of spite.
This would upset children if anyone did it. Please don't.
That'll just make it even more malicious for them.
I have faith in the human race.
Tom, don't worry, sweetie. Everybody's gonna. It's cool. It's cool.
Exactly.
It's fine. No one listens to us. You're fine. Except for our 30 loyal listeners and the 3 porn bots that post comments every week. I love you guys as well.
Oh, right. Well, anyway, Nikki, if you were going to bless your heart, send me anything. Firstly, it doesn't have to be anything I can eat. It can be a little souvenir of.
Ooh, I already know some stuff I can send you. Never mind. I already got you.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you some beef burgers, lamb chops,
Richard, that would be fine. I'll just give them all to my son and my cat. My cat can eat your Wagyu steaks that cost £30 or whatever else.
I'm not
Verbal
spending
deal.
that much on you. Don't be absurd. I'll get you Tesco no frills steaks.
Oh, God. Do you remember when they had that scandal a while ago that it emerged that a load of their beef wasn't quite from cow?
Yeah, and you know what? Their food started tasting worse since they did that. So I say bring back the horse meat.
Mm.
No, I don't care. Horses are delicious too. I ate horse in France.
Oh, okay.
It's not just glue that they're good for. They're good for riding. They're good for being your loyal friend, and they're good for eating.
But you're the type of scoundrel that would scoundrel. How bloody posh and British is that? You're the type of scumbag that would like eat their pet after it died, wouldn't you?
I am indeed an unscrupulous cad, but I ate dog in Africa. Yeah,
If
it's not that good.
If I wasn't vegan, I would try pretty much anything once. I'd try like grasshoppers and tarantulas and things like that.
Grasshoppers
Honestly,
are actually
crocodile,
pretty good.
Yeah,
Crocodile's my favorite meat. Is the best
Crocodile
meat.
isn't like exotic though.
Well, I'm just saying that's my favorite meat.
Yeah, crocodile's
That's good.
really freaking good. Mine used to
But
be
yeah.
lamb until it decided to try to kill me.
As a goof. Yeah, poor Nikki's allergic to lamb, which is unfortunate because lamb. So anyway, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole today, a couple of hours before the show, as it happened, and I thought I'd talk about it before we move on to the topic. Well, do either of you know anything about the Kentucky Cave Walk?
Nope.
No.
It's one of those what do you call it, quirks in history that I just adore, like the Dancing Plague or the Donner Party, or it's little stuff like that pops up in history, hooks me in. And the Kentucky Cave Wars was definitely quirky. As in California they had the gold rush, but in Kentucky they had caves. They started I don't know what the word is, where you commercialize, I guess is the closest thing, cave exploration. They started selling tickets to tourists, and there started to be arguments and fights over cave systems, and like there was even a cave mafia that used unscrupulous means to seize control of entire cave systems in Kentucky.
That's freaking awesome.
It's kind of bizarre, but at the same time it's pretty cool, And they become this whole competition over who had the best cave. And this led me to the internet historian and Floyd Collins, who go over to the internet historian's channel to watch the full. He did a really good accounting of this story. But the gist is there was this bloke called Floyd Collins in the early 1900s who found a cave on his property that was like completely, that crystal that you get underground.
Quartz?
No, the other one, it begins with G.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember either. It'll come to me in like an hour after the show ends.
Okay.
And I'll be sweating. I might actually...
One of us could just Google it.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Yeah, you do that. I was about
I'm going to try.
Wow, that was aggressive. I'll try.
I'll try, yeah. Because But anyway, he found a whole cave full of these wonderful crystals. They're not worth anything, but they look alien. He described it, and people who went into the cave afterwards described it as like walking into this alien kingdom. It looked, completely not like something you wouldn't see on Earth at all. Gypsum. There we are. Gypsum is the name of the crystal.
Okay.
And he walked in and it was glittering. Now, the only problem was the only way to get into this cave was through a really narrow opening. So you had to crawl through it. And he was working on opening that up so he could bring tourists in when he got caught in a rock slide and ended up trapped with this rock on his ankle, and he couldn't move, and buried in granite, and he couldn't move. So he stayed there for like 23 hours before anyone knew he was there, and then his brother found him, and they gave him food and water. So he was all right. He was getting everything he needed to survive, but he was in like a puddle, so he was slowly dying of exposure. And they spent the next, 15, 16 days trying to get him out. They tried various techniques. They tried tying a rope around him and pulling him up. That didn't work. They tried digging down to him. That didn't work. And then all the traffic into the cave to try and help him further weakened the cave structure, and more of it collapsed on him, and he did eventually die.
That sucks.
Which, yeah, it's really terrible for him. But this is where the story takes a bizarre turn. Because so far, I would have really liked it if they'd got him out of there alive. I felt that would have been a really good ending to the story. But the actual ending of the story is actually kind of cute in a sort of weird way, morbid way. So he's dead in the cave, and the governor, because there's all this media attention by now, it's a national story. And the governor's like, well, we can't really get his body out of there, so we'll have a funeral over the cave mouth and just leave him there for all eternity, right? So they have the funeral and call it a day. Now his brother, unable to accept this, is like, sod that, I'm not standing for that. So for the next year or so, I think it was, he goes around the country trying to raise funds to dig from the other side into the cave to get his brother's body. They eventually do it. They retrieve his brother's body, pull it out of the cave, and lay him to rest at the family plot, right?
Yeah.
So you think, oh, that's a cool ending. At least he got out of the cave eventually, sort of. And, it's sort of a nice sentiment. Only you'd be wrong. A few years later, they sell the land to a dentist called Dr. Henry Thomas, who decides to dig up Floyd's body, put it in a glass coffin, and put it in the cave and display it to tourists with a headstone that reads, "Here's Floyd Collins, the man who died in this cave." And as if to prove...
Shitty.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. Because as if to prove how deplorable human beings can be, this becomes an overnight success. He builds a steady business off the back of this, and people are coming from miles and miles to pay him. And because he's so rich, he can afford lawyers to keep the family at bay, who are obviously suing him, trying to get their brother's body back. In 1950 something, two people actually tried. Nobody knows who it was, but two people tried stealing the body from the cave. They must have got cold feet because the body was discovered in a field nearby and missing a leg. But it's badly decomposed at this point. I mean, it's basically a skeleton. And then they retrieve the body and it goes back in the cave. So this poor dude is still in this cave. If you do have a soul and you do get to haunt places, this dude's been haunting this cave for God many years. And it's not until 1984 that the Supreme Court finally goes, okay, you know what, you can go ahead and bury him in your plot, and he's put to rest at a national park burial. So he's been in that cave for 60 years, posthumously. And I just, such a bizarre little story that actually happened. I mean, I was aware that in that time period, people did like displaying bodies. That famous gunslinger, what's his face? Jesse James, there we go. His body was put on display for years after his death.
Yeah, I mean, when they say put on display, I mean, do you just get to sit and watch it decompose, or do they preserve it, or can you not actually see the body, or what?
The dude in the cave was in a glass box. It was airtight, which prohibited the decomposition process to a certain degree. But
Still pretty
obviously,
morbid.
yeah, obviously decomposition. And after they nicked his body, you know, they put him in a metal coffin with a chain around it that wasn't airtight, so that, you know, aided the decomposition process. Jesse James, I believe, was displayed in a big bag of ice, which really slowed down the decomposition process.
But for at one of the at a London university, I think maybe University College London or something, when a politician called Jeremy Bentham died in the 1800s at some point, they preserved his body in formaldehyde, and they used to still wheel him out for debates and have his I don't know, his corpse, I guess, his preserved corpse watching over them while they debated and thrashed out issues.
Yeah.
I think they eventually had to stop that when something gross, like the head began to fall off or something daft like that.
Yikes.
When it became apparent that this was a person and they were doing this to him.
Well,
but,
yeah, honestly, all of that is true. It's it really is.
I believe it.
Yes.
It's one of them weird ass things. But yeah, I found this story through the Cave Wars, which just took me in as a rabbit hole by itself. And then this story about this poor bloke who, finally found something that was going to make him rich. Because that was a lovely cave he found. It's not open to the public now, even now. And it's closed off because the cave's too dangerous. And then, gets trapped under a cave, doesn't die for 2 weeks. He's trapped. He can't move for like 2 whole weeks. And then he spends the next 60 years in that same cave because of some dickhead who put his body on display. I just, my heart went out to him. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, can you imagine how in the audacity of the guy that wouldn't just be like, nah.
I know, and people say things like, "Oh, we've gotten so much shittier in recent years," and I'm like, "Nah." Stories like this prove we've always been shitty.
Yeah, we've always been absolutely shitty.
Yeah, guys, I think some of what I said there, I might have been told as fact, but it's a bit apocryphal. I don't. It was like his skeleton was definitely preserved at the university, but haven't found yet that it was wheeled out for debates. But that's honestly what I was told by my history teacher. But that's starting to look apocryphal, and I've only begun looking at Wikipedia. So yeah, a bit of a myth, some of that.
I know that Jeremy Bentham was the name of John Locke's character when he left the island in Lost. That's my knowledge. Let's see. He made an auto icon of himself.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's
the thing that was wheeled out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he made careful preparations for the dissection of his body after death and its preservation as an auto icon. So it was basically a mummy, a modern day mummy.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, and it's still here. It's still on display. So,
yeah, apparently so.
Nice. How morbid. But at least that was his dying wish. That's what he wanted to do after he died.
It happened. Wait, I've got it here. As of 2013, there was one time the body of Bentham was taken to a UCL council meeting, so not a debate. And then it says there is a persistent myth that the body of Bentham is present at all council meetings. So there you go. There we have it.
One of them, urban myths. Mandela affected.
So, are we going to talk about the found footage? We're halfway through this.
Yeah, I was just going to move on to the topic now.
Great.
So, yeah, found footage movies, my guilty pleasure. I pretty much love all of them. It's very rare that I find a found footage movie that I don't enjoy. I like the concept. I think that the concept of them is ludicrous enough that whatever happens in the movie can be expected. It's a found footage movie, of course, hinges on the belief that no matter what happened, somebody recorded it all on a handheld camera. And some of the movies try to pass that off as, oh, well, we're trying to document this because it's really weird. Or one of the movies, the kid's got autism and he uses the camera as a safety blanket.
A buffer, yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't see the point in trying to fob it off. I'm just like, come on, I can suspend my disbelief.
Did you watch the one I was talking about last week?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty good, not gonna lie.
Imagine being like 13 or 14 and that warning comes on and all of those people pop up and are like, experts, like, oh yeah, this isn't faked, blah blah blah. I just assumed that it was real because it was before Blair Witch. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh, that's what you were telling us about last week, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, is there any way you could sort of tell us what's so scary about it without giving spoilers? Is it like...
So first of all, it came out a year before Blair Witch. So found footage really wasn't heard of. You had mockumentaries like Cannibal Holocaust and stuff, but that's a bit different than a found footage.
Yeah.
So at the very beginning of the show, there's a big disclaimer. This came in public television. Didn't have to have cable. It came on public television. And it at the very beginning is a disclaimer saying, that these images are of people that haven't been found. It was found in such and such date. It could be troubling to some viewers, blah, 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 blah. And then, like I said, found footage had never been seen before. So even with the bad acting, which, it was 1997 or 98, so it's going to have comparable, like the sound and stuff is going to be crap. But anyway, throughout the entire thing, like it would pause and then it would have a quote unquote like professional like therapist or people that were into aliens or whatever, supposed government officials or whatever talking about it. So like legitimately a lot of the people that watched it, which I don't think were a whole bunch, but they thought it was real. Because unless you watch the credits to see who like alien number 2 is, you're not going to know. And that was, like I said, before Blair Witch, before found footage was actually a thing. So that's what was so terrifying is we thought it was real. Basically, it's about a family who gets attacked by aliens, essentially. That's the best way to put it.
Right. Yeah, I thought when you first brought it up, I thought it was the other found footage film called Alien Abductions, which, is the same, basically the same story.
Yeah, McPherson tapes or whatever.
What? No, the movie's called Alien Abductions.
Gotcha. I haven't seen it.
It's really good. I love that film. It's a great film. But yeah, I did some research. The very first ever found footage movie was apparently made in 1980. It was called Cannibal Holocaust. And I've never ever heard of it.
I see that. I just said Cannibal Holocaust. I just don't see... I see it as being a mockumentary, not so much as a found footage. But I mean, I could... That checks out. I mean, it tracks.
I've never heard of it.
So a lot of the footage in there, like at one point they're eating a turtle, legit. Like a lot of the footage was real, and a lot of the people were treated pretty badly in it as well, from what I heard. But yeah, it's pretty decent. I mean, if you're a horror movie fan, that is a movie that, I mean, if you're pretty hardcore into it, you'll know. I'm surprised you don't know, because I mean, you know about Serbian film and stuff, so that movie was so lame.
You're just an unfeeling monster. That's what I've come to accept about you. But yeah, let's face it, found footage movies are exclusive to horror. You're never going to find found footage movies outside of the horror genre.
The funny thing was, I thought I haven't actually got much to contribute to this, but actually I totally do. I've just thought of one thing, and it's relevant shock horror, Richard. I hope I'm not giving you palpitations.
Well, let's wait until you've actually finished talking before.
Okay. I went to see the Blair Witch Project because my friend Adam said, let's go and see it. And I knew nothing about it at all. I'd not heard of found footage. I'd not heard of the premise. I knew nothing beyond the title. And I went to see it, and I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I was 100% fooled. I mean, I literally, I had no reason whatsoever to believe it wasn't real. That I did not even think could it be, couldn't it be. I just assumed 100% from the get-go. I believed the first line. This camera was found. Like, oh, okay. And at the end of it, I looked absolutely white as a sheet. And my friend Adam realized, no, we were talking, and it was a little way home when he said, wait, you do know it's not real, don't you? And I'm like, what? He goes, no, you do. It's no. I go, well, of course it is. And he just went, and he burst out laughing, and he was in his side split. He was hysterical. He was absolutely pissing his pants laughing at me. And what a muppet I'd been buying into it.
The Blair Witch Project had pretty much the first ever online movie campaign that I'm aware of, because it did a lot of online stuff. You had Heather's Journal, you had all that marketing campaign, you had all they tried to make it pass it off as a real found footage. It was a really good campaign, and I was told earlier tonight that only men can have favorite movies and genre, and the Blair Witch Project is definitely my favorite found footage movie. As a man, I'm allowed to have that.
Oh, so, only men can have favorite movies and genre. Okay.
Yeah, only men can. I don't know. It was
only men can do what? Have a favorite film for each genre.
Have favorite films. Yeah, only men can do that.
Yeah,
it was. And it was a woman who told me that. So.
Who?
Jax.
Why did Jack say that? Because women don't watch movies?
Apparently only men can have favorite movies.
That is weird. Okay. Incorrect. I think that Tom and I have had like the longest conversations about movies.
Yeah.
No. Jax is listening. She messaged me. Apparently she said men can have one, women have multiple. Women can't choose between movies. That's what she meant.
That is a lie.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
Okay.
I can choose favorite movies.
Go on then. What's your favorite movie?
Which genre?
Yeah, see.
Well, no, which genre?
See, that kind of proves my point, right? Yeah.
My favorite movie of all time, Man Without a Face, with Nick Stahl and Mel Gibson, and that is and has always been my favorite movie.
Never seen it.
It is a drama. It is very dry and very slow, but I really love it. I want to say it's Mel Gibson's directorial debut as well.
Is it I can't concentrate, Tom. Is it on any streaming services like Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything useful like that? Or have I got
I'm not sure. I think you might have to go.
I've got to go to CX again, haven't I?
Yeah. Yeah, or I'll get it for you. I mean, I bought it on Amazon.
Let me have a look. I'm going to CX Maidstone branch tomorrow to buy an anime series that my friend Jenny's daughter insists I should watch. It's called
What?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I have heard of that. I have not watched it because I
You
don't do
can't
anime.
be a weeb as well as a vegan. I don't allow that at all.
What's a weeb?
People that are into Japanese stuff, Western people that are into Japanese stuff are weebs. You can't be a weeb as well as vegan. It's not allowed.
Okay. I'm not trying to be a weeb. I'm just trying to follow someone's advice.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he's just gonna watch someone's recommendation.
I mean, I'm not automatically making it part of my identity.
Do you watch a lot of Japanese anime?
No, actually, I don't. I'm actually in the middle of watching some Studio Ghiblis at the moment because my friend Rosie likes to collect them, and I like the chase. For me, the chase is better than the capture. I know all her missing stories, know her missing films from her Ghibli collection, and I track them down around branches of CX whenever I'm traveling around the country, and whenever I'm near branches that get them in. And we went halves on a couple, and so I'm halfway through watching one of those, and then after I'm done with them, I'll pass them on to her for keeps. They're really peaceful, the Studio Ghibli films.
I have been told I really need to watch them.
They're so delicate and soothing on the eyes. I watched one. And I could really, really recommend The Tale of Princess Kaguya. The Tale of Princess Kaguya. That is a wonderful.
If I could just take a crowbar and get us back on topic, that would be.
Sorry.
Anyway, if you're interested in learning more about Jax and the power of Jax, the link to her YouTube channel is in the description. The power of Jax compels you. TM copyright, all rights reserved. Anyway, so yeah, my favourite in that genre is the Blair Witch Project because I feel where a lot of found footage movies go wrong is they actually show the antagonist. The Blair Witch Project is good because it shows absolutely nothing about what they're facing. It could be a ghost, it could be a witch, it could be a demon inhabiting the woods. You don't know. All you hear is weird sounds and an abrupt ending. And I like that. I don't like it when they go like Cloverfield is a good example of that. You never needed to see the monster.
Yeah, you really didn't.
You didn't. That movie would have been a lot better without that bit in that movie. Or Paranormal Activity, when all that possession shit starts happening. Unnecessary. Should have just been a faceless ghost the whole time. But that, for me, is where I feel like found footage movies go wrong, is where they show the antagonist. And that's why I like the Blair Witch Project, because they don't.
Yeah, that was even at the very end, they didn't. In the last thing, when you've got them, the last scene, they're sort of in that underground basement, and they're just like against the wall or something like that, and they're knocked out one by one, and then that's the end.
Exactly. And you never see what it is. And in fact, the director intended for you to get to see what it was. There's a scene, when the tent gets attacked, about halfway through the movie, and they all run out. There was supposed to be a scene where she flipped the camera around and you saw something chasing them, but the director didn't get the shot or decided not to include that, and I think that was the right decision.
There's nothing quite so suspenseful and fear-inducing as the unknown.
Exactly. That's why it works.
Yeah, that's some of the best. Actually, some of the best films are more terrifying for what they don't show you. One we talked about earlier tonight, actually, Nikki. We need to talk about Kevin. That is a film, a fabulous film, about adapted from a book. About a high school massacre, and at no point do you see the massacre. You see before and you see after, but you never actually, and you see the aftermath, but you never actually see the brutality. It's all left for you to imagine, and it's all the more powerful for it.
Yeah, exactly. Another good example would be the end of District 9. They never say that Alien is the dude. They just imply it.
District 9's great.
and that ending is good. Like, and other movies could be improved on it. Like, have you ever seen The Dark Knight Rises?
Yes, of course.
If, at the end of that movie, if they didn't show Bruce Wayne, if they just showed Alfred tearing up and nodding, that would have been a much better ending. And I'll die on
Actually,
that.
you're right. Yeah, actually, Richard, I totally agree. Yeah, it would have been. And hopefully not coming off topic, but just tracking back ever so slightly, another great film where you don't see the villain, and again, it's another one we've talked about in the last week, Trousers. That's Niki, everybody. And it's Duel, Steven Spielberg's first film, Duel. It is about it's a road rage film about a truck that for no real reason just sort of singles out one other driver in his car for murder. But because you never see the driver, the enemy is the truck. And so by choosing not to, I mean, the truck they chose for this film is absolute perfection. I think it's a Peterbilt 381 or a Peterbilt 281 or something like that. And it looks absolutely monstrous just for its form, its size. And when it's filmed so cleverly because I found out when I bought the DVD and watched all the special features, because I'm a geek like that, that this truck can actually only had a top speed of about 55 miles per hour. So they had to film it really, really cleverly and get all the shots just right so that is never revealed. And you believe that this thing is doing 100. And it's a really, really good film. The tension is great. I grew up with it. Absolutely love it. Duel, Steven Spielberg. It's from the early 70s. I think it was straight to TV as well. But it's a hell of a film. Fantastic. Duel.
Wasn't his first movie Close Encounters?
Don't think so.
Something about that film.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, is it a found footage film, Duel?
No. It's a film the link is, which is hopefully going to save my sorry ass. The link is in Blair Witch Project, you do not see the villain, and in Duel, you do not see the villain either. Not the person, because the person's the driver. You don't see the driver, you only see the truck. You see a silhouette of him. You see his boots walking along you sort of see, you see his boots walking along. You see his hand squeeze the horn of the car and a couple of little things like that, but you never see his face.
Well, that's good. Less is more.
Yeah, less is more.
And that's a thing. Not just to found footage films, but all films. Less is more. Sometimes you don't need to see everything. Your imagination is good enough. And I'll die on that hill, especially the Cloverfield thing. You never needed to see the monster. You never needed.
Yeah. I mean, did you in Cloverfield, the first one?
Yeah, the first one.
And the second one was 10 Cloverfield Lane, wasn't it?
It wasn't found footage as well.
No, it wasn't.
I didn't know that they were actually linked together. I thought that they were two separate movies.
Actually, it's a subtle link. Maybe you could call it a spiritual sequel rather than a direct one.
Gotcha.
Isn't it in the same universe or something like that?
It might be. I don't know.
They reference the New York attack at some point. I don't know. I've only seen parts of the second one. But yeah, I like found footage films. Not gonna lie, they're my guilty pleasure. And some of them are really good, and some of them are really bad.
What's the worst one you've ever seen?
The worst found footage film I've ever seen. Probably Paranormal Activity. Thinking about it.
Mine would have to be Blair Witch.
Heard of
what?
I hate Blair Witch. It's awful. It's not a good movie.
Why is it?
I saw it. Listen, I saw it at the movie theaters. Okay, it wasn't scary. Like, who gives a shit? Some annoying college kids or whatever are in the woods. It's boring as hell. It did not freak me out.
It builds up tension slowly. It amps
I
it up.
was so bored. I was so bored. I'm ADHD, dude. You can't just expect me to watch people walk through the woods for 20 minutes. That's why I suck at being like in the Bigfoot community.
That movie is not. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's a good length. You know, they
It
spend
doesn't,
all
it
night.
doesn't. Okay, fine. I don't want to watch anybody walk through the woods for an hour and 20 minutes.
All right, fine. I just.
That's why I don't watch, Lord of the Rings either, because people walking through the woods for an hour, well, that's 3 hours, but still, you
It's
get the
like
point.
9 hours of people walking those movies. So yeah,
That's true.
that would not speak to you at all.
Mm-mm.
So if you don't like the Blair Witch Project, which is the best fan footage movie ever made, or whatever,
Yeah, no.
what is your personal favorite fan footage film?
Mine would probably be the alien abduction found footage, because it scared the hell out of me.
Fair
It's
enough.
honestly one of the very few movies that has ever scared me, like genuinely scared me.
So what's a horror movie in general that scared you? Anyone?
Me naming a horror movie that scared me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a recent one. I can't think of any. When I was a teenager, House on Haunted Hill got me. That actually scared me and my boyfriend at the time. We went to go see it, the new one with Jeffrey Rush, and
I always get that one mixed up with the other one. That's the one
13
with the
Ghosts.
house. Yeah, that's the one where there's no ghost activity until they break into that room and then that mist stuff happens, right?
Right.
The House on
Well,
yeah.
no, wait. No, that is 13 Ghosts, I think. House on Haunted Hill. I think
It's
no.
that one where that locks itself in and the dude from Wayne's World is in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, not Wayne's World. It was Chris Kattan from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Out of the
Yeah.
Roxbury's. Yeah, both of those movies are very solid horror movies. The only movie that shocked me recently, and it didn't scare me, it shocked me, was Hereditary. There's a scene in that movie. I think that guy should have gotten I think he should have gotten multiple awards for his acting, because it is so intense and it just messed up the entire rest of the movie for me. It wasn't the same, but I don't know. Movies don't tend to scare me.
Yeah, me neither. It's been a while since I saw a horror movie. Well, the Blair Witch Project never scared me. I just thought it was very interesting.
I think I'm not big on horror. It's not a genre of film that I really like. I don't particularly enjoy being scared. I mean, I enjoy intense feelings that other people might find unpleasant, like very hot food. But being the scare in horror films really isn't one of them. And what I don't like is when a film relies on jump scares.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh, I hate that when you're just waiting for something to go wrong. It's just like
I get upset nowadays because they've stopped with the jump scares, and I want to be startled. You're not going to scare me with anything you do in the movie.
I mean,
you're not really going to bother me.
I remember
jump scare me.
Event Horizon being terrible for that. It's just when I watched Event Horizon at the cinema for the whole film, I'm just like, look behind you, look behind you. It just seemed such a cheap way to keep you engaged. I mean, I prefer horror that is really clever.
I need to stop you right there, Tom. Just acknowledge the moment, because I'm totally in agreement with you right here, and that's a big moment. Jump scares are cheap as hell. Just one.
Hey.
It just depends on the type of movie.
No, it doesn't jump scares. Anyone gets scared if something jumps out of nowhere.
And I love that. That's why I love haunted houses and stuff like that. Jump scares are awesome if that's the type of movie. If I'm going to watch something with ghosts in it or demons, I want to be jump scared. If I want to watch gore porn, I want someone to have a chainsaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things I expect from certain movies, and if I'm going to watch just your regular run-of-the-mill, ghosty, demonic, whatever, I want some jump scares and a creepy kid. That's not too much to ask. I want both.
Okay, well,
Gotta have a
I
creepy
can
kid.
think of a film with a creepy kid and no jump scares. I'm looking at my DVD copy of it on the shelf, and I bought this because
You haven't told us the title.
I'm building up to it. Give me a
Oh,
second.
Dear
Jeez, let me have
God.
at least some attempt at composure. I've been waiting a long time. No, it's a film recommended by Mark Kermode, who is a pretty well-respected film critic. And I got bought that he really liked it, and it said that it doesn't rely on jump scares. It's The Babadook.
That is a movie I was told I have to watch.
Well, why haven't you?
And
then?
it's actually well, I spoke with like one of my coworkers this week about it, and I've been looking at it forever, but I plan on watching it this weekend, probably tonight, maybe at some point. I might watch it while I'm cleaning, but she actually told me it scared the hell out of her, and I love that kind of review from anybody.
Very good film. And another film that does this is a film I own. I've just counted them. I own 7 horror films, and one I would gladly add to the collection is It Follows. That is a terrifying film. It Follows. Have you seen it, guys?
Have not.
I literally had to pause it and walk away at times. The tension was excruciating. And I don't think there are a couple of jump scares, but that's not the overall.
I have the trailer, and I will look at it when we get finished. If you would like a good horror movie that's not really scary, I guess, that is just beautifully done cinematography, has beautifully done cinematography and all that stuff, it's called Midsummer. It's a really beautiful movie, and it brainwashes you into being happy over the ending. Like, legit, it's a very very, very smart movie,
It's
I think.
Swedish.
I've got
Love it.
What was that called?
So
Midsummer.
Midsummer.
It's Swedish though.
It is so good, and I don't know. It's beautiful. They shot it beautifully. I like the way it messes with your head, because at the end you're going to be happy with the ending, and it's not a happy ending, but you're going to be like, "Good for her." Yeah.
But how can you possibly be frightened by a Swedish
It's
movie?
not scary. I didn't say it was scary. I just said it was beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
Just checking I've got the right one. Danny and Christian are a young couple with a relationship on the brink.
There's only one Midsummer film. How do you not know about this? It's like pimped out for all it was worth.
Have you seen it, Richard?
Me,
It's a great
yeah.
movie. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's Swedish.
Look, two things quick, if I may.
Look, as you know, I like Scandinavia. I've got friends in Norway and Denmark, but Sweden, they're a bit dodgy. Let's be fair.
You're a bit dodgy. Let's be fair.
I mean, we are from Sweden, and this is how we talk. I mean,
I
how
love
can you be
it.
scared by that? It's just so ridiculous.
Have you seen the movie? It's
Yeah, he pisses on a tree, pisses them all off. They end up brutally murdering him, and
that's wow. You just no.
I don't want to spoil it for Tom.
I'm like, you're not wrong, but you're also very wrong.
Then
I am not wrong at all.
Then the enigma remains. If I get around to watching it, I will.
I'm obviously not going to give away important plot points and ruin it for Tom, maybe.
So, I won't remember anyway, man. I've got a film up there that I've been told is great, which I bought and haven't seen yet. It's Let the Right One In, the original version. And I've been told I must watch that. And I would like to give a quick nod to a film that is firmly nested in my all-time top 10. It is not a horror film, but it is the most traumatic thing I have ever seen. I could not sleep after watching this. It's a German mountain disaster film called North Face. It's absolutely horrible. It is awful to watch. It is.
Is it like Gray Zone awful? Like, is it that kind of?
define the horror right now.
It is. It's not designed as a horror film. It's a true life. It happened. It might be dramatized, but the events happened. It's a in case you want to watch it, I won't tell you. It's the true story is well known, but you guys may or may not know it. It's about an expedition in, I think, about 1936 of 4 Germans.
Oh, yeah, I know.
To climb the north face of the Eiger, and which was the last unclimbed face in the Alps. And it was about their attempt to climb. I mean, it's a near vertical cliff that goes up for like 1.5 miles or something, or 1 mile at least, something crazy like that. And it's about them trying and failing to do this. It's horrible to watch. It is excruciating, agonizing, utterly compelling, and absolutely brilliant, magnificent film. I love it. I very rarely watch it, but there's this one scene of excruciating futility halfway through, about 3/4 of the way through the film. It's basically, well, no, I don't want to give it away, but it is what happens in it. It's just so, it's the sense of...
You're like the worst kind of person in the world, Tom. Do you know that? You are literally the worst.
Why?
I'm going to tease the fuck out of you, give you all these little tidbits, but I'm not actually going to tell you what's going to happen.
What do you want to know?
Not on here.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want you to tease the crap out of me, though. I don't want to be like, oh, this bit is so good, it's so amazing, but I'm not going to tell you what happens or even hint.
Well, going full circle, if you give me your address, I'd be more than happy to go to CX, find a DVD or Blu-ray of it, and post it to you as an early Christmas present.
I'm not giving you my address. You doxed yourself on the show. I'm not mental.
So good.
Well,
all right. What are we doing next week then?
I don't
know.
Oh, come on, guys. Like, Nikki, I know that as a woman, you can't make decisions like this or have a favorite movie.
Cool. I'll accept this reverse psychology and go, you're right. You're absolutely right, Richard. I can't.
Okay, I've got that recorded. Nikki admitted that I'm always right. Live on the show, I've got that recorded. But Nikki, just calm your feeble woman brain, okay? Tom, what do you want to talk about next week?
I'd love to talk about it may be a bit ordinary, but science fiction in general,
sci-fi in general. I could get behind that.
Our
Nikki, are you fine with that?
TV series, anything.
All right. Nikki's fine with that. I'm happy with that. Again, I've ripped on Jax a little bit tonight, so I'll put a link to her YouTube channel in the description. Go and give her a like. Tell her Vulture sent you. She'll be nice. That'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night.
Night, guys. Night, everybody. Thank you.